Welcome to the Soul Warrior Network. This week's topic is inappropriate vows, pacts, contracts, agreements, curses, and spells. Do you have the capacity to create beneficial agreements in your life? Do you ever wonder why you are surrounded by people, places, and events that drain your energy field? Join us while Jeff explains some of the reasons why. So without further delay, thank you, Jeff.
Do you really think and believe that millions of evolved souls would say yes to come to Earth just to die in a totalitarian new world order? Absolutely not. We came to flip this world upside down, back to its original state and more. We came here for the new Earth, for world peace, for the immortal golden age, for a new Eden. We came here for nothing less than to send a wave of light and love across the universe, signaling the birth of a new order of divine justice, peace, compassion, and love. So tonight we're going to talk about stuff that can get in the way of you progressing and doing what you came here to do and being what you came here to be. And some of those things are, as Beth alluded to, vows, pacts, contracts, agreements, fealties, swearings, on and on and on. There's thousands of different terms to refer to it, but it's an agreement you made at some level. And I'm going to start with an example of an agreement, and then I'll explain how it impacts you. So the most common agreement that I find in people's energy fields, I usually check for it in either round 1 or round 2. I can't remember which. It's called vows of nurturing. Vows of nurturing. Vows of nurturing. And what this is a past life, and it's typically, I've had one young lady who had made it 21 lifetimes ago, and I had another person who had just made it 5 lifetimes ago. But it's a vow that they took. Now keep in mind, when we take a vow, we take it for eternity. When we have a swearing or a fealty or a contract, we take it for eternity. We don't understand when we take these vows or make these vows that we're forever. We never end. We're infinite beings, right? We have no beginning. We have no end. But we will get into a human existence, and we will, somewhere in this lifetime, we can make a vow, pact, contract, or an agreement. And even though we made it in this lifetime, it can affect us many, many lifetimes after that, because we pick up where we left off with a vow when we leave this world and come back. So let me finish the vow of nurturing. So at one time, this person made a vow to basically relinquish their existence for a person, a project, an entire group, an event or something. And what that means is they promise to take care of somebody or take care of something or take care of, like a priest in a temple made a vow of nurturing to take care of this particular spiritual text. And he gave his life for that. He had to protect it. A priest in a previous lifetime gave a vow of nurturing in order to take care of an entire school of orphans. Okay, so he spent his whole career, his whole life, he died working at his desk, making sure that this orphanage stayed open. This is basically a vow that you take to take care of others, And that's okay. That's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's a magnificent thing if that's what you came here to do and that's what you came here to be. And you get a lot of satisfaction from that, of being of service. Not being in servitude. Being in servitude is a slave, but being of service to others is a magnificent thing. It's a beautiful thing. If you ever are feeling down, If you're ever feeling depressed, if you're ever feeling, poor, pitiful me, or life is such a shit storm, I can't stand it, go help somebody else. Stop and give $20 to the guy on the corner begging for food or begging for money. Go work at a soup kitchen. That'll make you feel better. It'll get you out of the doldrums, I promise you, because we are built for service. That's what all of our missions are. That's what all of our purposes ultimately come down to, is to be of service to others. And it's a magnificent thing. It really is. So this vow of nurturing in a past life, you made this vow and you took the vow forever. And then what happens is it impacts you every lifetime after that. Now, the way it impacts you in this lifetime is there's never enough time for you. You're always giving away everything, your time, your money, your treasure, everything. Other people come first all the time. And that's not a bad thing. Like if you're a mother and you've got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, you have to take care of them first. But that's a little different. This is what I'm talking about, is where you're driven to almost self-destruction because you relinquish your own personal power in order to be of service to others. And it does become servitude. So what happens with a vow of nurturing is eventually, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, it becomes servitude rather than service. And it's important if you make the vow, it's important that vow ends and comes to a conclusion in that lifetime. When you leave this world, it should be over. But that's not the way it works in this world. So I'm about to describe to you what happens. So let's say you've lived this life a lifetime, and you're leaving. Your life is coming to an end, and your physical body stays, and ashes to ashes, dust to dust, it goes back into the earth. Okay. But your soul, along with your spirit, traverses back to the other side. And as it checks out of this earth, you've in your field, now this is an active field. This is somebody that's alive and moving forward and has things to do. They have a causal body, they have an emotional body, they have a physical body, they have a mental body, and there's several other subtle bodies that are in here that make up an energy field, right? And a lot of stuff can get trapped in this field, but also a lot of things could get in here, like agreements. So when you pass, you leave the matrix of this earth and you go back to the other side, and you're up here with the Creator. And I'm giving you a real simplified version, but there are a series of energetic spheres that you go through to cleanse the body, to cleanse the soul, to cleanse the psyche, to kind of slough off the negative stuff that happened in this lifetime, that kind of stuff. Madam Psychoses is a lot of what some traditions refer to it as. And there's a series of these spheres, and that gets you set and gets you back to the other side, living your level of being your level of consciousness of who you are. And then you get to decide when you're coming back. And but here's what happens in this matrix of this earth. So when you check out this time, your agreements, your vows, your fealties, your swearings, all those things get lodged right here. It's like a little locker. It's like an energetic locker. And you have, let's just like you have a cloak, and on your way out, you hang your cloak in this energetic locker. And in that cloak is some of the shock, panic, and trauma that you experienced while you were here on Earth. In this little locker, this cloak you're hanging up, are the vows, pacts, contracts, and agreements that you made, and on and on and on. So it's also some of the memories can be there. So what happens is let's say you sit on the other side for 100 years or 200 years or 1,000 years, and you get a hankering to go back to Earth because you really liked it. The Earth is an attractive place, and that's a whole nother discussion of why that exists and why it is that way. But you will find that a lot of people come here over and over and over again. Now, there are thousands of places to go to. There are other places to learn from. There are other theaters of experience that we've set up to have experiences in. But there are a set of reasons that people like to come back to Earth. And Earth is primarily set up to learn through relationship. Keep that in mind. The primary driver of this theater of experience is relationship. And it's relationship with others. It's relationship with your spouse. It's relationship with your children. It's relationship with your parents. Everything is centered around relationships. How many people can attest to the fact that probably one of the biggest things you spend most of the time on is relationship with somebody else, coworkers, bosses, customers? It's all about relationship. And ultimately, it's about relationship and returning to the love of self-love. That's what you come here to learn in this world, is how to grow yourself through relationship and interaction with others. And you take those lessons with you. That's part of your consciousness. It's part of your spirit. You take those lessons with you and reintegrate those into you. And then when you come back, you have that wisdom, that knowledge, that understanding. Okay. So now I'm talking, you spent 100 years or 50 years or however long you want to stay on the other side, and you decide, I'm coming back to Earth. When you come back, this blue represents the new you. The minute you cross this barrier, you have a baseline vibratory frequency. That you're in the computer world, it's equivalent to your TCP/IP address, or even more, I would say even more, it's more like your MAC address, which is your machine address. So every computer has an individual address to it. So even if I didn't have your TCP/IP address, if you were on a network somewhere and I knew your MAC address, your machine address, I could find you anywhere on this globe. That's what you do when you come in here. Your MAC address registers in the matrix of this Earth, and it says, oh, look, we've got a bunch of information for you. And these are the vows, the pacts, the contracts, the agreements that you had. These are some of the traumas that you incurred. This is some of the curses, hexes, and spells that were applied to you or you had when you were here before, and it's assigned to you. So when you reincarnate, it doesn't seem fair, but when you reincarnate and come back to this Earth, you kind of start where you left off. Somebody who's had vows of nurturing for 20 lifetimes. Because every time they went through this process of leaving the Earth, coming back to the Earth, leaving the Earth, coming back to the Earth, leaving the Earth, coming back to the Earth, they picked up about those vows of nurturing again. And this lifetime, they have nothing to do with that. They're not a priest, they're not a nun, they're not a nurse, they're not a doctor, none of those things. And but they still are impacted by that because they picked up where they left off. So then you end up living this life that you set up, and you end up acting certain ways. You end up giving away your time, giving away your money, giving away your focus, giving away yourself, because that's part of the vow of striving you.